I always like to point out, if you touch this screen, it'll change displays to an analog and to a display that tracks over time. Everybody that I know of prefers this display. It makes it easy to see when they're peaking and all that kind of thing. And the main reason I tell you is if you accidentally touch it, you might wonder what happened to my display. Just touch it again until it gets back around to this display. And you probably know that this eyeball here is for doctors that just want great big numbers. Here they get the numbers for the counts. Now, the way most people use this, the doctors like to hear the sound get higher and higher so that they know when it's reached the top of the pitch. According to how strong the dose is in your patient, sometimes it might, the 0 to 100 scale that we're in now might work just fine. You always get the actual count number there where it says counts per second. So even if I change my range, the counts per second stays the same. It's just that the display and the sound changes. So the reason I tell you this is that if you find that you're not getting any counts at all, check and see if you can decrease the range. Is that over here? So that you get into that area. Likewise, if you're in a range that everywhere the doctor goes, it's just peaked the whole time, then change the range, move it up so that he or she starts to get the sound. So that's the ranges. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions on that? Okay. One little feature that we have that I think is really cool on this, our instrument is set to perform optimally. So part of that is that, you know, the Tech 99 you're looking for has a specific energy, and there's a little peak that it has. And we zero in on that energy as best we can to, so that it makes that when it looks for the hot spot, it's really zeroed in on that. If there happen to be any other isotopes in the area, they would discount those and really focus on that. Now that said, sometimes you might find you're just not getting as many counts as you'd like. And this button here, it says change to wide range. So if I push that, you'll notice I'm instantly getting more counts. And what that does is it just opens the range on that isotope. So it's not quite as accurate in terms of the isotope itself, but the fact of the matter is that's probably the only isotope of significance in your room is what that patient has. So you can feel, you know, if the doctor's saying, you know, boy, I sure would be nice to get more counts, feel free to use that. And then you can flip it back. The one thing I like to point out, it can be confusing. It says right now, change isotope to Tech 99 wide. That means it's currently on narrow. And if I push that, it changes it to wide. Now it says change isotope to Tech 99 narrow. So it's on wide, and I push it to get back to narrow. Does that make sense? Is that okay for everybody? Okay. Do your doctors like to take timed counts? Some of them. Okay. Then you probably know to do that, there's a button right here that says take timed counts. So when you push that, you can see it's counting up. By the way, I know this is kind of fuzzy, but are you able to see the words and stuff adequately enough? Okay, good. Okay, so it counts up for 10 seconds, and then it stays on the screen for a while, and then it goes off. The nice thing is that I can go back anytime and say view timed counts, and it'll pull it back up if I want to reference that. The other nice thing, working like with a mirror here, is that every time I take a timed count, you can see it just stacks it on there. So a lot of doctors will typically do sort of three. You know, they'll take a time count of the area of interest in the breast, and then they'll excise the node, and they'll put it on top of the probe and take another time count, and then they'll go back to where they removed the node and take a time count. So the nice thing is that when you do that, you can go back at any time if you want to get those numbers, so you don't have to worry about writing them down. If you can save this if you want. I find most people don't, but it's easy to save. You can see there's a save button right there. But if you don't, when you finish the study and turn off the machine, then it resets itself and those are all gone. Any questions on the time